संकीर्तन की, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की, ग्रंथराज श्रीमद्भागवतम की। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्यनाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकाकांत राधाकांत नमोस्तुते। भक्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। So we are discussing a topic today called how to maintain our spiritual life peacefully before developing that higher taste. That is the topic today. Actually, before this verse, there is one more verse also, but still, there are 4 verses which have a common denominator. Tasya prajna pratishtita. That is the common denominator. Who is a man of steady mind? That question is answered by Krishna. This man is a man of steady mind. Who is it? The first verse says, Yas sarvatra anavisneha satta prapya subhashubham nabhinandati nadveshti tasya prajna pratishtita. What is it? 257, I think, is it? Is it 2.57? Check it. So there he says, Yas sarvatra anavisneha satta prapya subhashubham. He says that, correct? Yeah. He's saying that one who is equipoised in success and failure, profit and loss, pleasure and pain, happiness and distress, honor and dishonor, such a person who is having equanimity, his consciousness, his intelligence is fixed intelligence, he says. He has a fixed intelligence. What is the meaning of that? Like Lord Ramchandra was told, you will be king tomorrow. Next day he is told, you go to forest for 14 years. So was there any difference in reaction from Ram? Was there any difference? Did Ram cry? When he was told you are going to become the king, did he jump? No. So that is equanimity. in all situations, one shows equanimity. Whether you get A grade or F grade, you have equanimity. Okay, if you got A grade, you thank God. If you got F grade, you make a plan to improve and go on. So, if you can have equanimity in life, because we are living in a material world where the whole situation around us is in flux, which is constantly changing. So when the situation is constantly changing, why to lament about the change? Because change cannot be stopped. Like you saw somebody got a beautiful wife, but then she becomes old. So he laments that how beautiful she was before, now she has become so old, the tooth are gone. So you don't think like that, because it's a change is the law in this world. Similarly, you got a new car. Suddenly, while traveling, some dog came in between, you hit a tree, it got a dent now. Alas, don't lament. Because new car will not remain new car always. Eventually it will become old car, isn't it? So, in this world, the pleasure will not remain forever. And pain also will not remain forever. They keep coming, going, like the seasons are changing, Krishna says. What is that famous verse 2.14? Matra sparsha kaunte chita ushna sukha dukkada agaman apayano anityaha tam stitiksha bharata. So pleasure and pain, honor and dishonor, they keep coming, going in the life. So actually we desire that I get only pleasure, I get only honor, I get only happiness, I get only profit, I get only victory. And okay, you got victory, again you want to repeat victory, repeat pleasure, repeat honor. So we want the plus and we want to repeat the plus. But material nature brings us plus minus, and we don't like the minus. It's like saying, give me a coin only with the head, no tail. Is it possible? You come inside the room, don't bring your shadow. No, when you come, your shadow will follow you. Similarly, when you get the head, you will also get the tail in a coin. One side is head, other side is tail. So, in this material world, you cannot get only one out of the two. Therefore, this world is called the world of dualities. Dualities means there are two. So, what the jnanis do to get rid of the duality? They say, if I invite the pleasure, along with pleasure, what comes? Pain comes. If I invite honor, along with honor I get dishonor. So what I do, I reject the honor only. And I reject the pleasure also. So along with the pleasure, what will go away? So I reject both. So in order to do that, what they do in summer season, they put a fire around themselves. Generally in summer, you all like cold water bath, correct? But jnanis put fire around themselves and the hot sun above their head. And winter season, they break the ice and go into the Gangotri, Yamunotri waters. Chill. Generally in winter, you all like to wear a cap like this or wrap a blanket around your body, correct now? Why? Because it's very cold, they would like to have a warm experience. But they counter the cold by dipping themselves in chill waters, icy waters. Why they do that? Because by rejecting the heat, along with that heat, they can also reject the cold, duality. So, this is why the jnanis, I don't know whether this point is easy to grasp. Is it clear, understandable, this point? Why the jnanis purposefully put fire around themselves in summer, purposefully dip themselves in chill, cold winter. How many of you understood this point? Is it clear, this point? I think it's not very clear. It's a difficult point, it is. It's difficult. This point is a little complex point, it is. Actually, if actually this is called as tapasya. In chill cold winter, if you break the ice and go inside water, initially it will be very chill, cold, but eventually you get used to it. Similarly, in summer you put fire around yourself, initially you'll be sweating and eventually your body develops the tenacity to tolerate the heat. To give a more simple example, I will tell you. You learn to travel in an unreserved bogie. How many of you have traveled? Okay. You go regularly And I have gone many times. Although I came from a rich family, my parents actually many times kept our life very simple. So at home also, our lifestyle was very simple. We didn't want us to live lavishly. He wanted us to live simply. Sometimes when I would go in an average train, ordinary train, I have seen the whole train, everybody will be sleeping and we know how to walk. Walk over with the legs, correct, no? And climb at the top and walk over that and go to the bathroom and come back. You do it 2, 3, 4, 5 times. You get used to it. It's not that you cannot do it. For someone traveling in first class or second class, this will be like a Herculean task. How can somebody travel like this? And in summer season, how can you travel in an unreserved bogie train? It's better to have a third AC, second AC, correct? But if you accept austerities, you gradually become used to austerities. And then afterwards, whenever you get even a little luxury, you are very grateful. You will be. So the jnani is actually trained their senses and body to accept severe austerities, which we don't have to do. Devotees have to do. I'll tell you why devotees don't have to do. The reasoning I will tell you. The jnanis actually torture themselves and trouble themselves by performing severe austerities, like I told you. Panchagni, they put 4 sides Agni and the 5th one from the sun. To realize Aham Brahmasmi, Aham Brahmasmi, Aham Brahmasmi, they chant like this. I am not this body, I am spirit soul. This body is useless, perishable, nasty. It's full of filthy substances. Like that they meditate. Aham Brahmasmi. Like. Whereas Bhakta, what he does, instead of proclaiming the body to be nasty and dirty and impure and good for nothing and perishable and everything, the devotee thinks that, anyway, God has given me this body. Why to condemn this body? Let me use this body in God's service. Use it. How can you use it? Put the tilak in 12 parts of the body. Because this body is also a mandiram. It's a mandir. Why? Because besides the jiva, there is also super soul in this body. Correct, no? The super soul makes this body very holy. Because he is present, jiva is also present as a servant. I am present, God is present. So we both are sitting in this body. Let us make this body like a temple, beautiful, by putting tilak in 12 parts of the body, bathing the body, keep the body clean, eat very simple foods which are sanctified foods offered to Krishna, wear a dress which will remind ourselves and others about Krishna, wear a Vaishnava type of dress. If you wear a Vaishnava type of dress, you will also feel like a Vaishnava and others will also look at you and become inspired spiritually. And then walk to the temple, look at the deities, offer agarbatti, lamp to the deities, dance in front of the deities, do pradakshina, offer obeisances, use your sadbuddhi to read the shastras, use your mind to engage in chanting and remembering the Lord. In this way, all the apparatuses, instruments that Krishna has given you, they can be used in Lord service. Body, mind and soul. Body, mind, words and soul. Therefore, there is a verse which says, Nikilashva Pavastasu Jivan Muktasya Uchyate. What is the first verse? Sarvapadi Vinirmuktam Tatparatve Nirmalam Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhaktaruchyate. This is one verse. And then, see, the first verse says here, what is it? Karmana Manasa Gira. How it begins? Ihayasya Hare Dasya Karmana Manasa Gira. By your activity, by your manas, by your mind, and gira means by your speech, one should engage in Krishna's service. Then Nikilashvapi Avastha, so Jivan Mukta, you become a Jivan Mukta. Which means the soul can be separated from the body by engaging body and mind fully in spiritual activities. Because the body, if it is engaging in sense gratification, the body and mind become putrefied. But if the body and mind engage in Krishna's service, they become purified. But what the jnanis are trying to do, they know that if I indulge in sense gratification, body will become putrefied. So they abstain from engaging in sense gratification by forcibly rejecting sense gratification. But we don't worry about rejecting sense gratification. We worry all about engaging body and mind in Krishna's service, positively. So there are 3 types of men in this world. One is enjoying and suffering. One is renouncing and escaping from suffering. And the third is engaging in seva and spiritualizing one's body and mind. You understand? That's a positive axis. You understood, no? And the downward axis, if you see, he is trying to enjoy and suffer. Bhog se rog hota. Rog hone ke baad yog karte hain log. Isn't it? After that. Yog karne ke baad sharir ठीक हो गया, वापस भोग. So they are caught up in the bhog, rog, yoga triangle. That's a negative axis. Yeah. And then when you come to 0, 0, there a person is rejecting enjoyment. But then it's a platform where you are tyag. You are rejecting sufferings by rejecting the enjoyment also. Because enjoyment, when you take it, it also accompanied by suffering. Yeah. So therefore they reject enjoyment and reject suffering, and they come to a neutral state of 0, 0. Correct, no? So they are called tyagis. So negative axis people are called bhogis, 0, 0 people are called tyagis. And positive axis people are called bhaktas. What bhaktas do? They neither reject pleasure nor reject pain. They accept both as Krishna's gifts. Both coming from, they connect both to Krishna. For example, somebody is accepting gulab jamun, but we will not eat gulab jamun unless it is offered to Krishna. It's offered to Krishna, I like accept gulab jamun also. But someday they have made Karela sabji, bitter gourd sabji. I like it still. Why? Because it's offered to Krishna. You don't say this is bad, that is good. You don't see what is good or bad. You only accept what is acceptable to Krishna. Whatever is not acceptable to Krishna, I will also not accept it. One example I'll tell you. One time somebody made a phone call and said, Swamiji, so-and-so big man passed away. Now we are taking the body to crematorium. Can you come? I generally we don't go to crematorium unless the person is an initiated devotee and a very serious member of the congregation. I said a couple of devotees will come to your house and they will do the kirtan. He said, no, Swamiji, specifically they have asked if you can come. He said, no, I said, I have a lot of things to do today, very busy day. I said, then he said, no, that's a big gathering, about 300 people are coming. And we are ready to take 300 Bhagavad Gitas. He said, and you can also give a 20 minutes to half an hour talk also. And you can give away the Bhagavad Gita. And then you can do the talk, kirtan and give Gita and you can go. He said, I immediately became ready. I said, yes, I am coming. Immediately, because 300 people are going to get a copy of Gita. So we are going to the Smashan. We did kirtan. We did, some talk also, half an hour. Many people liked the talk because it was about Nainam Chindanti Shastrani, Tekhinos Meta Dehe, and Manmana Bhahamad Bhakto, all that they heard. I told about the chanting Hare Krishna mantra. And then I gave Bhagavad Gita. Everybody took one copy. They took boxes. After taking bath, all the people are going to get one copy of Bhagavad Gita. They are going to take. So, he is calling me to an inauspicious place, which is Smashan. But I went there because I got a chance to perform an auspicious activity there. Correct, no? On the other hand, another senior devotee in another temple told me, somebody invited him for one Mangal Karyalaya program, marriage program. He asked, we don't generally go to marriage. He said, no. It's a very wonderful opportunity. We have made a nice pandal. Evening there is orchestra and music and all they have. Many. So the same stage, if you keep a program, 1,000 people can attend because 1,000 people are coming for the marriage. So this devotee thought wonderful opportunity. They went for the program. He said they gave a stage, very nicely dressed, decorated. So he sat on the stage, but all the people who had come for the program, 1,000 people are there surely, but all the men and women, they're all very gorgeously dressed, like jigna and everything they put, because they come for what function? Marriage. And all are walking, going, coming, ha ha, hee hee, hoo hoo. Everybody is laughing, joking, clapping hands, and children are running, making some noises, sound here and there. And there is a lot of noise of people's gossip. So he sat and the organizer said, first you do kirtan, everybody will sit down. So he did the kirtan also. After closed the eyes, he saw nobody was sitting. People are all moving, going, coming. He asked the organizer, to whom should I give lecture? Then organizer said, I'm very sorry. I thought they will sit. I'm telling them to sit. Nobody is sitting. Because most of them are interested in meeting their relatives, friends. They are all just busy in gossip. What busy are you? Huh? Except the main people who are organizing. They were not very keen to sit down and hear a monk. Huh? They were not very keen. Then the gentleman came and gave some little dakshina and said, sorry, please take some fruits, you carry on. Huh? He came back. So he said they have put a big board of Mangal Karyalaya, but the program became Amangal. He was telling it's inauspicious because there was not opportunity for glorifying the Lord. Or nobody is interested in taking part in the kirtan. All are materialistic people. Nobody has respect for saintly person. Nobody has respect for the holy name. So he said you can call the place as a Mangal Karyalaya, but my Mangal thing is not happening. They are just talking about all useless gossip. Understand, no? So here try to compare these two places. First place I am going is a Smashan, but there you are able to auspicious activity. Here is a so-called marriage function where you are not getting any chance to do anything auspicious. So he told them, why don't you take some books? They said, not right now, later on we will see. Later on means never. Isn't it? So that is why a devotee's calculation means, where can I get a chance to connect things to Krishna? That is auspicious. Where is a place where I cannot connect things to Krishna? That is inauspicious. So our only reference is Krishna Arthe Akila Cheshta. Anything I will do will only be for Krishna. Like I have come here now. Why? Because you are all giving me a chance to glorify Krishna. Otherwise I have no business here. If somebody, like some people, like one man was telling, Swamiji, if you can come for that big function, big allied people are coming. Who is coming? Who is who? All big people are coming. I asked them, okay, we have come there, what do you want to do? You can just come and sit and take some photo, it will be helpful for you later. I said, you take photo if you want. I'm not interested. Unless there's a chance to speak. Like in Pune, there is one function which happens where something like 80 or 100 very big shots. They put Sri Ravi Shankar, they put Shivani Madam, they put a Sadguru photo. Of course, they put all these organizations come, but they don't come. Next to them there are people who come. They put all these photos. And you go for a 3-day conference and they'll give you 1 minute to speak. 1 or 2 minutes to speak. It's all, mostly you can nicely show off and come. I am also present. You can have the photo with so-and-so and photo with another person. Take photo and later on you can show. I attended such and such conference and all day you're hearing all philosophies going in different directions. This way, that way, sitting there and hearing. Not anything substantial. I don't go for such functions at all. I said, no thanks. Thanks for the invitation. You can better give it to somebody else who may be interested to go. I'm not interested. Where there is no chance for us to glorify Krishna, we don't go. It's useless. Therefore it says, what is that? Atak kavir nama suyavadarta syada pramatto vyavasaya buddhihi siddhenyatarte nayate tatra parishramam tatra savikshamana. This is Bhagavatam verse. He says, Atak kavir nama suyavadarta. In this world, although the material objects are all called by different names, you call this as a Reynolds pen, you call this vehicle as a Pulsar bike, you call that car as a Lamborghini or some name. Different names are given, but all these different names showing the material variety are nothing but a conglomeration of material elements. That's all. You can take this much of china clay and you can make different objects like camel or tiger or deer, different things. Finally, when the teacher is about to wind up the class, all the children wind up the china clay and give it, correct, no? And then she puts it all together. It's only like a lump, like chapati. Flour you make, and then you make one gola. And then you put it all back, it's like that. Similarly, this whole material existence, the material variety is cheating variety. This is no variety at all. Because matter, you will see, matter is eternal, but the manifestations of matter is temporary. You understand this point? Matter is eternal, but the like your body, my body, this is all manifestation of matter which is seen. Are these forms permanent? Like somebody says, oh, she is very fair, he is very black, he is very tall, oh, he is very slim, he is looking cute, she is looking smart. This is all cheating variety. But this variety is not going to remain forever. Because it looks very attractive. All that glitters is not gold. Maya's glamour is for fools. It is said. So, Maya's glamour is material variety. So, if you are a spiritual personality, you should know that this material variety is a cheating variety. Because at the time of Pralaya, all these bodies and the Panchamahabhut, everything will get mixed. Only a big lump will be there. What is that lump? Panchamahabhut. That's all will be there. Material variety is cheating variety. But inside this material body, there is a spirit soul. And spirit soul also has a form. And in the spiritual world, every spirit soul has beautiful forms. Like you have seen cowherd boys running with Krishna in the forest of Raja by the side of Yamuna. And Krishna, Balaram, cowherd boys are going and the cuckoos are cooing and welcoming. Coo! And they're welcoming. Peacocks are dancing and welcoming. And all the monkeys in the tree are jolly. Even the trees are offering flowers and fruits to Krishna. So this individuality in spiritual world, that variety is permanent variety. It is an imperishable variety, everlasting variety. And the uniqueness will remain forever. In the spiritual world, nobody grows old. Nobody dies. Nobody gets diseases. So that is the real variety, and this variety is cheating variety. So, therefore, a devotee of the Lord knows that, I will only do anything that is going to be deposited in my eternal bank account. And I will not deposit anything in my Diwala bank account, which is the material body. And material body is what account? Diwala bank. 100% guarantee. Turnam jate tanapate tanuvrityu yavan. Bhagavatam says, this material body is definitely going to drop to the ground one day, dead. Like he says in Kulashekara says, Idam shariram parinama peshalam patatyavashyam shatasandhijarjaram kim aushadhim prichasi muda durmate niramayam krishna rasayanam piva. He's telling, Idam shariram parinama peshalam. This body is always changing. From childhood to boyhood, boyhood to old age to death. Initially you have, when child is newly born, there is no hair. Then you get jet black hair. Then you get more thicker hair. You have disco style hair. And then you get white hair and you die. And in this way, young children become boys, young boys become youths, and youths become old. The old people are sent to graveyard. That is material world. The change gradually takes a person from the womb to the tomb. You will see that. So any intelligent person should see this reality. This material body is damned to death. And without one's willingness, one's body is dragged to the graveyard at the time of death. It's not that people are very jolly to die. Nobody wants death. It will be finished one day. Nobody wants to get old. So, idam shariram parinama peshalam. It's a ever-changing body. Changing body which gets old. Patati avashyam is saying. That means this body will one day fall to the ground dead. One should not invest in this material body. This body is a perishable phenomenon. Only fools will invest in this body and hope that it will be a great thing. But this body one day will be taken to graveyard. Your investment will go useless. And this is a Diwala bank body, material body. Patati avashyam shatasanti jarjaram. And in this body there are many joints, like this is the elbow joint, this is the wrist joint, this is a finger joint, this is a neck joint, and then knee joint, all these joints. As you get older, you start getting problems in the joints. People get arthritis, correct now? People get, especially those of you who have a vata body, you get air enters into this. That's why we have this. Otherwise, the cold air enters into the ears, goes into the body, and the joints start giving severe pain. You will see that if you sit, you cannot get up. If you get up, you can't sit. Some people, you have seen that how they struggle when they get old. Some people walk like a toy. And they get, you have seen that? Yeah, this body is a horrible body. Now you will not know. You are a young boys. When you cross 60, 70, you see the body gives enormous trouble. There are 3 types of things mentioned in the Ayurveda. Kapha, Vata, Pitta. If you are a Kapha person, your troubles are here. From the top of the head to here. You will have tremendous sinusitis problem, ENT problem you will have. Eyes, nose, throat. Mostly the Kapha. And if you are a Pitta person, you will have problem in belly, digestion, not adequate fire in the belly, indigestion, and all kidney, all the problems. If you're a Vata person, you have below the navel, what is it? It's a bone pain, all these things in the body. So, therefore, there are 90 diseases. Ayurvedic doctors will tell you 30, 30, 30 divided by these three. Kapha, Vata, Pitta. That's why any doctor can just check your nadi and tell you what is your disease very easily. So, this is all arranged when the body was created. So, he is saying, Kim Maushadim Prichasi Mudha Durmate. Are foolish person. What are you talking about medicine in this world? By putting medicine, your body cannot be revived forever. No matter how much good medicine you take, one day this body will be gone. So what is here today, gone tomorrow. Why do you worry about it? Worry about that which is permanent, he is saying. Kim Maushadim Prichasi Mudha Durmate Niramayam Krishna Nardasayanam Piba. Drink the elixir of the chanting of the holy name. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. He's saying, chant this holy name and return to the Amritatvam. Amritatvam means imperishable status of returning back to Godhead, where there is true spiritual variety. Go from the world of cheating material variety to the world of eternal spiritual variety. Then you are intelligent, he says. So, in the path of spiritual life, whatever you are a brahmachari, you are a grihastha, you are a woman, you are a man, if by reading Prabhupada's books, this knowledge becomes deeply convinced to you that material variety is useless and cheating, fleeting phenomenon, and the spiritual variety is the reality, and Krishna and the covered boys are playing beautifully, and Krishna and the gopis are dancing. Krishna and Yashoda are having Vatsalya Rasa exchange in the spiritual world. It's a nectarian world where love is exchanged between Lord and the devotees. And every moment is blissful there. It is a world free from suffering. This is not a theory, this is a reality. In the Taittiriya Upanishad, it is said, Raso vai saha, rasam ki evayam, lavdva anandi bhavati. It says that the Supreme Lord is a bhandara of rasa, and rasam hi eva ayam, after having obtained rasa from Krishna, the jiva lavdva, having attained anandi bhavati, jiva also becomes anandi. The jiva also becomes very ecstatic by that. So, in this way, when one is convinced about this truth of Anandamaya, one comes to the stage. Then one understands that this material world is like a smoke, spiritual world is like fire. Material world is only shadow, spiritual world is substance. One is convinced about that. Imagine if I am in a jail, there are bars, there is a wall, people are all walking outside. But that is falling on the, say, the wall. In the wall, I only see the shadow of the moving people. Correct, no? Correct, no? But the shadow gives me an indication that there are real people walking there. Similarly, the people whom you see in this world are shadow bodies. Why I am calling these bodies as shadow bodies? Anybody? Who said that?
It's temporary.
Temporary, correct. These bodies are temporary, shadowy bodies. But these temporary bodies are shadow of the real spiritual body. Our spiritual bodies also look like this only, like what we are all seeing each other. They are very handsome, very beautiful. Nobody is ugly in the spiritual world. Everybody is beautiful. They are also very handsome body, but they are also like this body. Only difference is that is spiritual body and this is material body. Yeah. Right now the spiritual body has become shrunk like a small egg. Prabhupada says in one lecture, and then it is right now in the region of the heart now. And then outside that spirit soul, two coverings have developed, subtle body and grass body. What you are seeing with the eyes is only grass body. And grass body is a cheating body, perishable body, shadowy body. So, by studying the Shastra, that's why it says, Atak Kavir Namasu Yavadartha. Simply names are given to this changing perishable material body. Ultimately, it's simply Panchamahabhuta. Whether you are in a human body or a dog's body, both bodies are made up of same substance. What is it? What is it? Panchamahabhuta. Yeah, everything. Buildings are made, and whatever the buildings, cars, pens, and your body are made, all are one substance only, Panchamahabhuta only. It's all a conglomeration of the material substance. Atakkavir namasu yavadartha syad apramatto vyavasaya buddhi. An intelligent devotee of the Lord He will be apramatta, means what? Matta means mad. Pramatta means sufficiently mad. Unmatta means gone case. Matta, pramatta, unmatta. It is said. So a devotee of the Lord never becomes pramatta or unmatta by looking at this glitter and glamour of this world. Syad apramatto is saying. Apramatto means not mad. The devotee doesn't become mad by looking at a woman's beauty. He doesn't become mad by the glitter and glamour of this world or by seeing money. A devotee knows it is here today, gone tomorrow. Why to chase after some mirage? Mirage is cheating happiness. Like a deer is seeing a mirage in the distance. It looks like a big river is flowing. It runs there to drink water. When it goes near, there is no water. Only he gets dry, hot sand in the mouth. There is no water. It is a cheating. That doesn't mean there is no water anywhere. Surely there is a reservoir water elsewhere. So spiritual world is like that. Spiritual world is the place where you have abundant water of happiness. But the material world, there is a cheating happiness. So, atakka namas yavadatta syada pramatto vyavasaya buddhi. You need a one-pointed intelligence, which is called vyavasaya buddhi. See, the word vyavasaya also means business, correct? No? How many of you have seen business people are very shrewd and smart to make sure they make profit? How many have seen that? That's why the word is used here. Because businessman means he will become humble, he will do all kinds of drama he will do to make the money. You have seen that? How salesmen talk, you have seen that, correct? No? So, because he may talk this much or this much, whatever it requires, but ultimately he'll come to the business, which is to make profits. Correct, no? And I have seen sages counting money. One note they will not miss. And they count very fast. You have seen that? He is very, very attentive. He will never miss one note in that. And then he makes it and puts a rubber band and keeps on stacking more and more. He feels a smile on his face. He's a vyavasaya buddhi. You see, somebody was telling me, when one fellow was going in the train, another fellow went and sat next to him. This side some Chinese person sat, and this side one. There are many people now, business class person. There are many people, business class people. I don't want to take the name. They will get offended if I say. In India, you know who is business class. So one monkey came and sat. And this fellow, like that, he hit, and then it died. And immediately that person, he took that and said, anybody want to buy this? And the Chinese man said, okay, how much it is? This fellow want to sell and that fellow want to buy. Correct? So, they will make money out of anything. You have seen that? Like in our temple, in our Pune camp temple, they had made some broken marble kind of thing they are putting in the ground. These fellows are so smart, even broken marbles they can sell and make money. Correct, no? What to speak of good marble. So, vyavasaya buddhi means he is like money bent his mind. Money is honey. Everywhere he is seeing money only. Everywhere. So, a devotee should be like that for Krishna, Krishna, Krishna everywhere. Like, one man, Agarwal, told Prabhupada, Swamiji, my son is in America, I am not very happy, he said. Prabhupada said, why you are not happy? Actually, you see, we come from a very dharmic family. But my son married an American girl and settled in America. I am only thinking that at least I will give you some opportunity for him to serve the saintly persons. If somebody goes from India, I always recommend them to go to my son. Prabhupada said, give me your number. This was before going to America. Immediately Prabhupada took his number. And then when Prabhupada got the Jaladutta ticket, he called this fellow. He said, you told your son is there, I'll go and meet him. That means you can see how smart Prabhupada was. As soon as somebody can be engaged in Krishna service, what he would do? He would take the number immediately and engage him in Krishna service immediately. So we need vyavasaya buddhi in Krishna consciousness. So, syada pramatto vyavasaya buddhi siddhenyatarte nayateta tatra is saying. If there is a chance for me to become more Krishna conscious, I will go for it. Otherwise, nayateta tatra, he says. Otherwise, I will reject it. I will only talk if there is a possibility to glorify the Lord. Otherwise, I won't talk. This was Prabhupada's vow. Like when Prabhupada wanted the fan to be on, he looked at the servant and said, either he would say, and servant put on the fan. Either Prabhupada would say, what is the meaning? Open the door. Why to waste the words? But if you have to glorify Krishna, you can speak 2 hours also. But if you want something for your own body, you speak less. Correct? If you show this is good enough. Prabhu, can you come here and switch on the fan and let's check whether it is rotating or not? Why to speak so much? Isn't it? Siddhen nitarte nayadeta tatra. If there is something that is not Krishna conscious, a devotee will not go for it. Why? Parishramam tatra samekshamana. He's saying simply useless labor it is. Investing in the dying material body. He's saying. So, this type of vairagya should develop in a devotee. Then you will develop higher taste. What is that vairagya? Vairagya is not like the jnani's foolish vairagya. The jnani's foolish vairagya is, he is trying to forcibly reject the sense gratification and he won't be able to do that. There are many examples of Saubhari Muni or Vishwamitra Muni. Repeatedly these fellows fell down. If you see Vishwamitra Muni, if you see, first he fell down to Menaka due to lust. Later on he fell down due to his false pride by creating some Trishanku Swarga. Later on he fell prey to his anger. When Ramba came and showered some flowers, Parijata flowers, he understood she is coming to tempt me. He became angry on her. He fell prey to anger repeatedly. So you cannot control your senses on your own unless you develop a higher taste in relation to Bhakti Yoga and to Lord Krishna. So before the development of the Bhakti Yoga, we have to be deeply convinced about existence of Krishna, Krishna's spiritual world, Krishna's devotees, the eternal variety, the eternal reality, which is the truth. And everything else is simply shadow. The material existence is simply a shadow. Therefore, we had a chapter called Substance and Shadow. And we have to be privately, silently, secretly convinced in your own heart. It is not, you can give anywhere they call you for giving a device lecture, you can give a lecture. That doesn't mean you have become a great soul. You have to be convinced about this. If somebody is saying, Prabhuji, I am repeatedly attacked by Maya, I am falling prey to internet, surfing, I am falling prey to opposite sex, I am struggling with my old girlfriend. That means you have no conviction in spiritual life. You are not convinced about the spiritual reality. Therefore, in that verse, he will say, Krishna will say in the next verse, we will read that, if you're seeing a higher truth, you can easily reject something that is lower. Just like, for example, say, you are all traveling in a train, Azad Hind you are traveling. Azad Hind as such takes 36 hours to Pune, from Calcutta to Pune, correct? No? But you said once it took, say, 45 hours. It took. Sometimes it can take or not? It takes sometimes, correct? No, it takes 50 hours also sometimes. It is. So you got stuck in that train, for example, and you had taken chapatis and all are very dry chapatis now. But you will preserve those chapatis. Why? Because you don't know how much more hours it's going to take. Somehow, even if there is no sabji, no problem, at least chapati we can eat and fill up our belly. Correct, no? At that time, you get a phone call. One devotee says, Prabhu, the train is standing here for 3 hours. We heard in the station and we have ISKCON temple. We came to know that you are in the train. What's your bogie number? Tell us. We are bringing Rajabhog Prasad for you. Somebody comes and gives you a big plate of dozen variety of Rajabhog items. Correct? What you will do? You will take the sugar roti and give it to some beggar. Hey, come here, take it. Now, then you can confidently give it because you know Bhavishya Pada Ujjwala. Correct, no? I am going to take Rajabhog plate now. You can easily give it. Correct, no? But on the other hand, imagine nobody made a phone call to you. Some beggar is coming. Will you give him? No. You have to hold on to the sugar roti because you have nothing else. And that is what happens with impersonalists. Impersonalists, they know only 2 things. They know what is sense gratification and they know it is suffering. And they know if you don't do sense gratification, you don't suffer. That much only they know. They don't know anything beyond that. If I don't do this, I don't suffer. So they are holding on. Okay, I will not do it. I know it's suffering. I will not. And they are being dragged. Hey, no. Again being dragged like this. Besides these 2, they don't know anything else. They don't have any higher taste. They don't have support from the devotee association. They don't have support from the lotus feet of Krishna, Krishna's beauty, Krishna's promises in the scriptures. and Krishna's pastimes with his devotees, and devotees living in this world giving support. These kind of things impersonalists don't have. Because of not developing that higher taste, they have to be dragged repeatedly to the material platform again and again. But those who are living in the company of devotees, those who are chanting the holy name, hearing Krishna's pastimes, and hearing information from the spiritual world, about the spiritual world, in Guru Parampara, and developing a firm faith in it, they know that material endeavors are not fruitful. Parishramam tatra samikshamana. They are simply useless. Material endeavors simply cause more and more pain. More you chase after matter, more you get slaps and kicks. The more you chase after Krishna, more you get boundless bliss. So, once you are convinced about this fact, then why will you not chase after Krishna? I will just show you this verse. Yada samharate chayam purmongani va sarvashah indriyani indriyartebhyas tasya prajna pratishtita. See, when one withdraws his sense from the sense objects, like the ears from the sound, eyes from the sight, tongue from the taste, then one becomes steady in wisdom. That means if you don't indulge in sense gratification and withdraw your senses inward, you become a man of knowledge and realization also. That means, if you are a sober devotee who controls his senses, this is the advantage of controlling senses. If you control your senses and not indulge in sense gratification, then the senses don't make a fool out of you. They cannot. This is not talking about positive bhakti till now. Right now it is only talking about simply withdrawing yourself from sense gratification. There is a reason for this. See, the senses are gifted to us by the Lord, and by misusing the senses, we suffer. And how do you misuse? By doing sense gratification. For example, we have that Vacha Vegam, Manasa Vegam, Krodha Vegam, Jihva Vegam, Mudara Vegam, Upastha Vegam, correct? No? So these 6 Vegams are there. And if you, for example, if you overindulge eating with the tongue, or filling up your belly too much, or giving enjoyment to the genitals which are clamoring for sex life, or one is becoming angry excessively, and then, or one is uncontrolled mind, increasing mind's demands, purchasing more and more, and accumulating too much goods, isn't it? So then you will see that extravagant spending, extravagant eating, and similarly talking useless subject matters like politics and about cinema actors and actors and sports and sex life and all these things. So then a person actually, due to uncontrolled senses, one becomes entangled completely in this world. One becomes like a fool in this world. But if one can withdraw the senses from sense gratification and just to hold, that's what Buddhists are doing. There are Buddhists who keep silent for 2-3 years also at a stretch without speaking one word. And they get a lot of power by not speaking. But not speaking and withdrawing your power of speech is a good idea for whom? For one who speaks nonsense. But if one can speak about Krishna, then you get bliss. Buddhists don't get bliss. They miss the bliss. Why? Why they miss the bliss? Because they only get peace. So, why most of the part of the world people go for Buddhism? The reason is people cannot understand very high complex subject matter in spiritual life. Buddhism says only one thing, this sense gratification may make you suffer. Don't do that. So people understand the don't do. You don't do, nahi follow kare to danda khaoge. That much they know. Hey, no, this is giving me suffering, so withdraw. But higher than that withdrawing from speech is speaking positively. Speaking some glorification of the Lord, pastimes and everything. So, but even the very first step gives you some relief from the suffering when you don't do sense gratification. See, Prabhupada is saying in the purport, the test of a yogi means, the selfless soul is able to control the senses according to his plan. Senses are like venomous serpents, and the devotee knows that. Devotee is like a snake charmer who, snake charmer has this one instrument You've seen that? So when he plays, Prabhupada says in North India, there was one very big government building. Government building was a fort, which was used as a government building. So many snakes used to hide in that fort, and some people died also by the snake bite. So they called one snake charmer. So when that fellow played like this, then more than a dozen snakes came out. They all were coming and they were all moving their hoods. And then he caught one by one of them and then opened their mouth and pulled out the teeth, poisonous tooth. Then he told the people, now you don't have to worry. Even if the snakes are here, if they bite also, you won't have any harm. Because the harmful portion of a snake is what? Poisonous tooth, yeah. Similarly, our senses also have a poisonous tooth, like our eyes, ears, nose. What are they? The enjoying mentality. Bura nazar in the eyes. That is a poisonous mentality. Similarly, bhogavritti in the mouth, ears. Like the tongue's propensity to speak blasphemy, that is the bhogavritti. Or the tongue's propensity to eat that which is not prasad. Correct, no? So that will be removed when you chant the holy name, which is like that playing of this thing, snake charmer's instrument. Yeah, a devotee utilizes the senses only for devotion service. When there is no seva to be performed with the senses, he withdraws them as the tortoise withdraws his limbs into their shell. In this way, the devotee is in full control of the senses. See, devotee senses can do only two things. Either keep the senses peaceful or engage the senses in Krishna service. They don't do the third thing, which is sense gratification. That they won't do. Which means, for example, we don't say don't eat, but eat that which is only sanctioned, sanctified, regulated. Repeat.
Sanctioned, sanctified, regulated.
What food is sanctioned? Vegetarian. Vegetarian. What? No, vegetarian is sanctioned. What food is sanctified? So what food is regulated? Eating only 50% belly and 25% water. Another 25%? Everybody knows it. Everybody knows, only they don't follow, correct, no? Knowing, everybody knows. Then your eating is regulated, correct, no? Similarly, somebody feels some problem of lust, he says, okay, what is sanctioned? Marriage. Now what is sanctified? Husband and wife both chant 16 rounds, they are Krishna conscious. And what is regulated? They come together for procreating children. For example, the animals also, like lion, tiger, all the animals, not only lion and tiger, they indulge in sex only for procreation and not otherwise. They say the lion indulges in sex only once in 12 years for begetting an offspring. Otherwise, it doesn't indulge at all. They say, scientists say that except the human being, no animal, bird exceeds the quota of sex life which is kept for procreation. Other than procreation, they don't indulge. There is evidence. Chaitanya Charma has written an article about this. Actually, they know that this act of sex life is kept only for procreation. Otherwise, they have no reason to indulge. But for entertainment, they don't indulge. Animals. You must have seen that cows, bulls and all, they scream during a certain season. You have seen that because that is the time for their procreation. But after the procreation, you will not find them hanging around doing this. So they have that kind of control. But human is the only savage, as one of the writers said, who indulges in it unnecessarily and drains his energy. So that means one should know what is sanctioned, sanctified and regulated. In the same manner, if you have a family, husband, wife, children, your house is sanctioned for you. You can have a house, but you should not loot somebody's land. You should have honorably earned a piece of land where you can build a house. And when is a house sanctified? You make an altar for the Lord. That is sanctified. When is the house regulated? You don't make such a big house that you have to pay a very heavy loan later on. Make a house within your means, whatever livelihood you earn, so that you can devote your time to Krishna after building the house, not waste your time in paying back a hefty loan. So in this way, everything should be seen from these 3 points: sanctioned, sanctified, regulated. So in this way, a devotee is in full control of his senses. The main way that a devotee controls his senses is through the higher taste principle. One will naturally and easily give up mundane attachments and enjoyments as he tastes the higher pleasure of spiritual life. So he can say yes to Krishna and no to Maya when one is tasting the higher taste. Yeah. Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehinah rasavarjam rasopyasya param drishtva nivartate. So here there's a picture given. Is the embodied soul. See, the embodied soul is restricted from sense enjoyment, in the top you are seeing. And then, but the taste for sense objects remains. Like for example, say somebody is a diabetes patient. Doctor tells him don't eat sweets. So he is restricted from eating sweet. But his taste for eating sweet remains. So therefore it produces a kind of hankering. Doctor has told me, if I eat, I will have to die. So I have to not eat it. So is he happily restricted from eating it, or is he frustrated? Frustrated. He's not happy. He's told not to eat. So he's frustrated in that. But then if one becomes a devotee, then one develops a higher taste, is written there, you see. When you develop higher taste, the gift you get is you become fixed in consciousness. Vyavasayatmika buddhir yekeha gurunandana. And once you become fixed in consciousness, then immediately, automatically you lose taste for the lower engagements. That is the fruit. How do you know you have developed a higher taste? You will see that the lower taste gradually, initially it goes far away. Your hankering for the lower taste goes gradually. A stage comes where you consider the lower engagements to be abominable. Initially, you have little hankering for the lower taste. Gradually, the hankering reduces. And you come to a neutral state where you only accept the higher taste, Krishna consciousness. And lower taste may be available to you, but you are neutral. Then a stage comes when you not only are neutral, you consider it abominable. Let me give you an example. How many of you are eating meat before, now you are not eating? Yeah, they are good number, isn't it? So how many of you can confidently say, till your last breath you will never touch meat? Correct, now? Just see. This is the proof. Now you consider it not only... Now how many of you feel that, although you're eating meat, now you've given up. Now you don't even hanker for it now. Correct, now? Yeah. So you will. That means initially when you gave up, on an intellectual platform you gave up. You understood that in the body of a chicken or a goat, there is soul. I should not kill it. It's a pap. They are also like our brothers. Aham bija pradhapita. Krishna is common father. So you gave it up in the beginning. But then over a period of time, you saw that as months passed, little attraction might have been there to eat them. At the same time, you felt it is pap. It is sin. But over a period of time, you understand what is it made of? These are all horrible substance. One should not eat those dirty things. The more you come to Sattva Guna, you eat pure substances like vegetables, fruits, milk, sugar, rice, wheat, and then offer to Krishna with the Tulasi Manjari, and you worship the Lord, and then you develop vibrations of Sattva Guna. And after that, when you look at the non-vegetarian items, you feel how I was eating all this before. You are surprised and shocked. Now you consider them abominable. It's a amedya. It's not worthy to even smell it or even go near it. It's a dirty thing. Like that you understood that. So initially you had a hankering, then you came to a neutral stage. Now you even consider abominable. That's what Yamunacharya says. Yadavadi mama cheta krishna padara vinde namanavarasadamanudyatarantumasi tatavati batanari sangame smaryamane bhavati mukha vikara shushtu nishtivanam cha. He's saying that Yadavadi mama cheta krishna padara vinde. Since the time when I became a Krishna's devotee and started chanting the holy name and studying Gita, Bhagavatam and everything and the pastimes of the Lord, and the spiritual world became revealed to me, from that point of time I saw that Navanava Rasadaman Udyatarantumasit. In my mind and heart, beautiful, colorful pastimes of Krishna and his devotees is manifesting. Krishna is, I'll just show you one thing. See this one. See this? Krishna running now, beautiful now. Who is chasing? Krishna is chasing and he is running along with the butter pot also. Huh? So he is saying, when after I saw this type of pastime, when I heard this type of pastimes of the Lord, oh, these pastimes are so charming. He says that after seeing this type of pastimes of Yashoda chasing Krishna, or Krishna lifting Govardhan hill, giving shelter to the devotees, or Krishna dancing on Kaliya, or Krishna stealing butter, and Krishna protecting all his friends from the forest fire or demons and everything. He says that these are occupying my mind and flooding my heart with bliss. And he says, at that time, occasionally, the thought of some woman comes in the mind. He says, my lips curl in distaste and I spit at the thought of it. He's saying, Bhavati mukha vikara shushtu nishthivanam cha. Prabhupada was sitting in Calcutta, Bhagavatam class he gave. Yan maitunadi griham edi sukam hi thucham, thucham, he said. One devotee said, Prabhupada was literally thuking. He was telling, thucham. There is pleasure, but the pleasure is very insignificant. It is not worth giving our whole life and energy for that insignificant pleasure. So, in this way, one... here you see the picture. Who is this fellow who is doing tapasya in the hot sun? Vishwamitra. Yeah, Vishwamitra. He is doing meditation and suddenly Menaka comes and dances and immediately meditation is finished. He is allured by that. On the other hand, on the right side you find devotees engaged in Krishna service. They are eating prasad, they are washing pots, they are cooking for Krishna. Everybody is remembering Krishna. You see, Krishna says, do the activities while remembering me. That's what he has said. Like in our temples when devotees cook, we will be singing Hare Krishna mantra and we cook also. Correct? We cut the sabji, we roll the chapatis while singing the Lord's names, and in this way you can absorb yourself and all the allurements can be driven far away. He uses the senses only for Krishna service. Higher taste, by that he can control the senses like a tortoise. So, this type of pastimes,
Hey, what do you want, my fine feathered friends? Ah, I see. What shall I play then? An excellent choice. You are as gracious as you are beautiful. I will wear it with honor.
variety. So devotee's heart is absorbed in this. This is the real variety. See, restraining is difficult for a jnani. Why? Because the taste of the sense objects still remains. This is the cause of fall down of impersonalism. So restriction of a diseased patient, I told you the example of diabetes. But for a devotee, and restrictions are only good in the neophyte stage. Because in advanced platform, one develops a higher taste, it becomes easier to restrain the senses. So there are two people, neophyte devotee, advanced devotee. Neophyte devotee struggles to control the senses because still the lower taste is strong. Because in tamoguna, rajoguna, so the lower taste is still strong. He wants to be Krishna conscious, but the lower nature of tamoguna, rajoguna is dragging him. But when you become purified and come to sattva guna, increase the sattva, and then you start developing higher spiritual tastes, then the lower taste, the magnitude becomes reduced gradually. Then controlling also becomes easier. They become very pale. Initially you have to control. Later on there is no question of control only. You consider them pale. See, for example, I am showing you a mithai from here, from distance. You come running. Hey, it's a mithai, let us see. But when you come very close, I show you there are ants in the mithai. Yeah, moving all around. Will you eat it? Oh, you will say, thank you, keep it with you. Isn't it? Similarly, these abominable pleasures of this material world, they are dirty pleasures. But from a distance, they are attractive. But when you come near, you understand that, there is nothing here. It's like a mirage. Then one loses taste. That's why the more you go to higher, spiritual experiences you get, then you get the vision, the Shastra Chakshu, to see that these pleasures, material pleasures, are insubstantial. You can understand that. What kind of higher taste is recommended? One who has tasted the Lord's beauty in course of his advancement. Such a person loses all taste of dead material things. The Acharya's commentary is. Acharya is saying that we have to taste Lord's beauty. How Krishna's, every limb of his body is spiritual. Simply by glancing, he woke up the dead covered boys at the bank of Yamuna. Unless you have deep admiration for Krishna as a personality and Krishna's activities to be marvelous activities, mysterious activities, your respect for Krishna, appreciation for Krishna, admiration for Krishna, relish in Krishna, if this is increased, then it's very easy to kick off the material pleasures. For one who stops eating, the objects of senses disappear, but not the desire for the objects. You may stop eating sweets, but then sweets are taken away from your eyesight, but then in the mind they are there. The sense objects go from outside to inside the mind, later on, like that. But then he says that for a Sthita Prajna, having seen the Atma and the Paramatma, the desire for the objects disappears. Self-realization gives greater happiness than enjoyment of sense objects. See, there are two enjoyments. One is called as Parthiva Ras. Parthiva Ras means, pleasure of the tongue and the genitals. That is Parthiva Ras. Swargiya Ras means emotional support, which you get from relatives, friends, and everything. And Vaikuntha Ras means spiritual bliss. So, when you go from the Parthiva Ras to Swargiya Ras to Vaikuntha Ras, when you experience Vaikuntha Ras, you can kick away everything else. You can kick away the Parthiva Ras, sense gratification. And the Swargiya Ras you get from mother, father, brother, sister, family, friend circle, social circle, and all. For some people, it's very difficult to give up that. But once you taste the Vaikuntha Ras, you have developed firm faith in spiritual variety. Then the material personalities who give you that emotional support, you will be able to even live without them. That's why when one is a brahmachari or a sannyasi, you don't get that type of family support and everything, correct, no? But how they are able to live alone all their life ecstatically, that's because they have developed a firm faith in the spiritual variety, the spiritual family. So the society, friendship, love they are experiencing at that level, so they can rise above this Swargiya Ras. And Parthiva Ras, Swargiya Ras, both you can give up and then you can live at that level. Tadatokyapi kaunteya purushasya vipaschitah indriyani pramathini haranti prasabam manaha. The senses are so strong and impetuous, Arjuna, that they will drag down even a man of discrimination who is endeavoring to control them, like the Krishna is telling. They are so strong. Vishwamitra was a strong sage, but then after 60,000 years, he was still tempted by Menaka. So the Vipashchita is a jnani. And there is a reasoning given in another place when Acharya says, see, our mind is like a paper and our Viveka Buddhi is like a needle. Our needle can pierce the paper. Similarly, mind can be easily controlled by the Viveka Buddhi. But if the mind is filled with Bhoga Vasanas, Bhogaishwarya Prasaktanam Taya, so at that time the paper-like mind becomes like a mild steel plate. At that time you take a needle like Viveka Buddhi, you try to penetrate. Can you penetrate? You cannot. So even Viveka Buddhi is useless for a jnani. Because mind having the, he says, Bhoga Vasanaya, he says, when the Bhoga Vasana is entering the mind, it becomes tenacious like a mild steel plate. So he is not able to penetrate with his Viveka Buddhi, and mind even cheats the intelligence also. That is why the Vipashchit people may have the intelligence, but they don't have the shelter of Krishna. They may have the intelligence, but they don't have the sweetness of Krishna. They may have their own intelligence, but they don't have the association of devotees. So, therefore, you see? Yeah. In devotion service, sense control, one does not become frustrated by inactivity because you have a lot of engagements, correct, no? services. Krishna conscious activity brings true peace and lasting happiness. One who does not engage the senses in Krishna service, he falls down because of lack of engagement. Yeah. In this way, devotee of the Lord has shelter. So again, see this picture? The senses are very strong. Impetuous means forceful. They are very forcefully pushing us to engage in wrong, dirty activities. They forcibly carry away the mind of a man trying to control them. But if mind is engaged in Krishna service, sense gratification becomes distasteful and mind is easily controlled. Like Maharaj Ambarish, Amunacharya, they all are engaging their mind and senses in Krishna service. So this is why seva becomes very important. Without service, Kaliman, Shaitan ka ghar. You heard that? Empty man's mind is a devil's workshop. So never keep yourself free. Distribute books, do Harinam, worship the deities, do some seva. Never keep yourself alone and idle. Vishwamitra, that's the problem he got into. Durvasa, Vishwamitra, all these people. Yeah. Only by Lord's grace can one attain the transcendental state. Even though one refrains from actions, the desires continue within the mind. Hence, assistance of Supreme Soul is very much required. Without Krishna's help, on our own, we cannot control the senses. Hanuman is a great brahmachari, but he is blessed by Sitaram. By deep respect and reverence and service to them, he has conquered his mind and senses. Yeah. So we will conclude with this one. Tani sarvani samyamya yukta asita matparaha vashe hiyasyendriyani tasya prajna pratisthita. Yeah. So two things Krishna is saying. Tani sarvani samyamya. Withdraw your senses. Yukta asita matparaha. Engage them in Krishna service. Two-step process, not one step. Jnanis are doing how many steps? One step. Bhaktas do 2 steps. You know this, in Mahabharata you read the story of this Bakasura who used to go to a village and eat one family man every time. So when Bhima was taking that bullock cart of food, Bhima thought, why should I feed this fellow, Asura? I can only eat it. So he started eating. And Asura came running. He said, hey, that is for me. You are eating? So he came to hit Bhima. Bhima would, with his left hand, give a punch on his chest. And the Asura would take several saucers and fall far away. By the time he gets up and comes, what Bhima would do? He will eat more. So in this way, what he did? Tani sarvani samyamya yukta asita madpara. Both he did. So by eating food, he got strength. And by kicking him, he could keep the demon away. So you have to control your senses and take in more Krishna consciousness. Both you have to do. If you do only one thing, for example, if you hit him, he will hit you, then you will become weak. But if you are taking portion, that's what Krishna is saying. Tan sarvani samyamya yukta asita matparaha pashekhya sendrani. Then you become a man of steady intelligence. Yeah. By strength of devotion service, then you can completely control your senses, he says. See, the devotion service is compared to Vishnu as fire. Just like fire burns or everything to ashes. Vishnu, the heart of yogi, burns all impurities. But Vishnu will do that when you focus on him. And the aim of real yoga is devotion to Supreme Lord. See, in Bhakti Yoga, we call it devotion to Supreme Lord. In yogis, Ashtanga Yogi, they call it meditation on Vishnu. Yeah, by constantly engaging all the senses in service of Krishna. So in this way we can engage in seva. Seva gives a higher taste. Shri Prabhupada ki Jai. Aur Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai. Thank you very much. Very late, you all must be hungry for breakfast. Now one question I can take. All right? You have the mic with you. So although I spoke many things very elaborately, in essence I understood one thing from this section of Bhagavad Gita, that there is a lower taste, there is higher taste.
Hare Krishna, truly you said that we should speak less. For example, if we want to turn the fan on, we should set just say we should not say anything. But if we do that, then we don't that devotee
He'll be offended. He'll offended.
That is like pride. We will feel like that.
But the Prabhupada is a guru, no? Can't guru say that to disciple? Will the guru have to say, my dear disciple, can you please kindly put on the fan? He has to ask.
We should not do that.
Guru can command.
But we should do our friends. We should not do that.
Even your friend also. Like when my assistant comes into the room, I will say, either I say, what is the meaning of that? Open the window. My assistant always keeps the room open. When he comes inside, I tell him. Then he close the room. It's not an offense. You are not scolding him or something. You are just telling him to. Basically, the idea is what? Material activities, when you do, you speak less. Some people say, oh, today I went to bathroom, I did not get stool like a banana. Stool was very little, I am worried. I went to the doctor and he prescribed this medicine. He told, and you may say, okay, Prabhu, please relax. I have so many other things to do. People talk so many things about themselves. How many of you have seen that? Correct? So the whole idea is, learn unnecessarily, don't waste your time. Waste your time and their time also. Others' time. Actually, this is a very simple thing what I am talking. There is good amount of our talks are not Krishna conscious. How many of you agree? That is the point we are talking. Prabhupada's example is the extreme example I gave. If you see, right from the time you get up in the morning, keep one meter with you. Keep one stopwatch with you. From the morning to night, when you are speaking to different people, as soon as you talk something that is not connected to Krishna, you switch on. And then when the talk is over, when you start talking about Krishna, you switch off. Correct? Again, when you talk something non-Krishna conscious, you switch on. And you will see that we talk many things which are not related to the Lord. And thus we waste our energy. That's the whole point. So we have that prajalpa. There are 5 types of prajalpa, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says. Useless talk, this is argumentation, debate, fault finding, blasphemy. All these are useless. Useless talk, useless making arguments with others for useless things. Over petty things we argue so many times. Now everybody want to prove, nobody want to improve. Isn't it? Useless talks, argument, debate, fault finding and blasphemy. In fault finding also there are categories like rumor mongering, gossiping, bad mouthing, isn't it? Sweet talking on face and bad mouthing on the back. All this is under, fault finding. And blasphemy is another very big field also. So, mouth is a small thing, but it does so much useless things. So, the whole idea is we have to learn to watch what we do with our mouth. That's the whole point. Anybody else?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, in the job period, when we do work for 8 hours, at that time, sometimes we cannot catch prasad and we went to for the job. So at that time, we are eating the refrigerated foods like biscuits. At that time. So there is also no sense control. So how to...
Oh, your lunch gets late, huh? Lunch gets delayed.
Like lunch or breakfast.
Oh. Yes, oh, that time, of course, you can take cookie prasad also you can take, no?
Yeah, but
like, Hyderabad temple, we have 2-3 very good varieties of cookies. You can buy cookies and keep with you. Whenever your lunch gets delayed, you can eat some cookies, no problem. That's not a problem.
Guruji, I was saying about the 8 hours, Guruji. We didn't get opportunity to get it.
What is 8 hours? What is that?
8 hours shift duty, Guruji. Shift duty.
Oh, in shift duty, what you didn't get?
We didn't make prasadam for it, Guruji.
Oh, you didn't get time to cook, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, what is your timing? Stay approximately?
Like 6 to 2.
Evening 6 you have to
No, morning 6 to 2.
Morning 6 to 2?
Yeah.
Oh, right. So what you have to do is cook in the morning and carry in a hot pot?
Sometimes after B shift it will be A shift. Like we coming...
I understand. The shift keeps changing. It's a very, very horrible life it is, I know. Every week you have one shift changing. First shift, then next week second shift, then third shift. I don't know why these fellows do that. Such a horrible thing. At least if they keep you in one shift for the whole year, it will be good. The biological clock will at least learn it. Otherwise, biological clock is wondering what this fellow is doing. It goes on a task. Very difficult. Yeah. So generally what I tell the boys working on shift, you won't be able to follow the morning program and all properly in that. Basically, whatever time you sleep, from that time take 6 to 7 hours sleep. And then after that you take a bath, and then you have to sit and chant to yourself. That then only your body can be healthy. Otherwise, if you are trying to come at 12 o'clock at night and get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, your head will be reeling. It's very... already the shift itself is making life worse, and then the schedules will make it even more worse. So then you can make sure that there are many prasadam items like kakra, for example. In GV they sell this kakra. So kakra is like chapati only it is. Cookies are there, kakras are there. There are many items available. Whenever the timings are not suitable, you want to eat prasad, you can avoid the outside biscuits. You can avoid. The outside biscuits are karmi biscuits, but we can have devotee biscuits. We can have prasadam is available. There are dry prasad available. We can keep for a few days also. Yeah. And if you can cook, plan in advance and cook appropriately and keep it in a hot pot and take it, that is first class, because you can eat proper prasad. I know it's 3 shifts is a very... you work for 1 year, with that experience you switch over to another job. After that, don't stay on in this. Because right now you are a fresher, correct now? Yeah, freshers don't get jobs easily. So now at least you got some job now. So you have to stick on. Is it a bond, or a bond is not there?
Right now, no bond.
Right now, no bond. Very good. Keep trying for other jobs. The training period is even more good. You are not even placed now. So now, while in the training period, keep applying for other jobs. And in case you get some other job which is not having shift, you kick off the job and go to that. You can do like that. Correct now? For devotees who are so much knowledge you all have about spirituality, these type of jobs are very horrible. It is. Instead of this, there are many devotees doing many things. For example, I know devotees who go to the village and collect this papad, dry papad, that there are old ladies making in Nasik, for example. They make many dry items, which can be put in oil and we can make it very nice. What do you call it? Papad only, like papad type of thing, round one, and then tubular one. Triangle. Many things are there. Frames. So there are poor ladies who are very old, 75, 80 years old, they are making, but they want someone to help them to reach to the city. So there is one intelligent devotee, what he does, he is in touch with 200 families. And they all are making different things. He arranges a truck to take from all the people and put it all, package it nicely, bring it to the city, and makes very good money. And then from that money, he is only giving 20-25% of that money to the ladies. And those ladies are more than happy for that money. And he gets 70% of the money. From this hand to this hand, this hand to this hand. That's all. And he doesn't have to work for 3 shifts. Correct, no? And he is very cool. And you will find him in the temple. Whole morning program is attending. Evening he is going for preaching. And whenever this truck thing comes, for that also he's already put another devotee under him. So he is a manager. He gets it done, that also. So I would suggest you go to Delhi in Ghaziabad. There is one devotee called Rukmani Jivan Prabhu. I have his number, contact, everything I can give you. He is connected to Ghaziabad temple. So they have a Gauranga Gurukul, and they have got 24 varieties of this type of businesses they have. He will teach you, he's a CA, can you imagine? He says, he will tell you without much trouble how to make money. You can ask him directly. Prabhuji Radheshyam said that you have many varieties of business, give some suggestions. You can just even call him and talk to him also. So only thing is, you should have some business knack. That's very important. Because sometimes people will find out where are you bringing from, then they'll cut you off and they'll directly take it from there. So that is why one should be very shrewd in business. Your value will be there only as long as you know the knack of business. Business knack is required. For example, people without a business knack to start, you can have a big failure also in that. Correct? No? The Vaishya, little Vaishya mentality is required in that. So, similarly, one boy in Pune, what he did in those days, his father had a piece of land. And the father always told the son, "Beta, why don't you build something and sell, So, but father had only partly money. He didn't have much money. So this fellow earned money from an IT company. And then his money half and father's money half he put and made a building with totally 8, flats. Only two, like that he made one vertical, one tall building. So now he left each of the house for 20,000 rupees rent. It's big houses, very nice houses he made. Probably 3 BHK, I think. 20,000. Now 8 into 20, how much it is? 1.6 lakhs is getting monthly. Now he doesn't do any job. Hare Krishna. See, his grandfather gave him some money, his father gave him land, and he put his IT company money. Only 3 years he worked there. 3 years he worked, saved the money, put the money. Now, sitting at home is getting rent. So one has to think about in what direction can I take by which I can earn out the money without having to struggle hard in material. There are various ways. I'm just telling you, sharing some things with you. Now it's getting too late for you. You must be very hungry. Can you do short Mangalarti? No problem? Yeah.
Thank you very much, Puji.
Thank you.
So very enlightening and learning session. But Puji, logically we are convinced. But when we see actually, like from the Shastra also, from the devotees, like also, they all pray on one side. So how do we?
So
that is always
see how much a devotee keeps away from tempting environments. That's a very important consideration. We are hearing so many lectures, we are reading Prabhupada books, we are having morning program. After doing all these things, then ultimately it rests on the individual sincerity. You can't do more than this. This much only can be offered. This day and age is very dangerous. We want the devotees. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took Kala Krishnadas with him. Even in Lord's presence, he went to Bhattaharis. And they took him to enjoy with their women and produce children. They wanted to increase their Vamshavritti through him. So they took him. Mahaprabhu was very angry with him. He was very upset. He caught him by the shika and pulled him, isn't it? So, therefore, I would say that devotee will find easy to get rid of these things, one who keeps away from tempting objects and environment and habits also. For example, what is the tempting environment? See, somebody is a cigarette smoker. You should not go to the club where boys are smoking. That's tempting environment. And similarly, tempting association is boys who smoke, making friends with them. Then he will also smoke. And tempting habit is, not throwing away the cigarette packet and still keeping it in the room. Correct, no? Then he will be tempted to take it and smoke it. That means, so one has to give up that habit, one has to give up that association of the persons who are doing it, one has to give up that environment also. All the three. Now, extending the same analogy to the, internet adult content, one wants to avoid. Put parental control in your computer, put parental control in your smartphone. That means there is no scope for you to misuse, correct now? That is that one. Similarly, there are boys who talk rubbish things about boy-girl relationship. They are having affairs and everything. Keep away from them. Don't make friendship with them. Make friendship with seriously practicing devotees. And after you do these two things, then you have escaped from these two, but then within your mind there are past life impressions and present life impressions of man-woman relationships. Then you have to tackle that one. Correct, no? Whenever the mind goes to that can only go to that when you have some empty time. Then one has to keep oneself busy. Correct, no? Idle man's mind is the devil's workshop. And the more we withdraw ourselves, that's what Krishna says, yato nischalati manashanchalam astiram tatastato niyamyeta atmaniva vasham nayati, he says. Fix your mind and spiritual activities. And in case, even after you do these three things, you slip, it's unpremeditated slip, then a devotee will be forgiven. Krishna says, Abhijay Suduracharo Bhajate Mamananyabha. Correct now? One has to be careful and one can't afford to be, like you go to the garden to pluck rose flowers, but that's where the rose is also there, thorn is also there. Similarly, you go to internet for study purpose, that's where the pop-ups come. Many tempting pictures come, videos come. So both the dirty things and the important things are in net. So one of the ways what one can do, in case I am very weak-minded, I tend to go to some bad videos and all. Then I can only make it a point to open my net and everything in a place where many devotees are around. At least some local aja will be there. Many others are seeing, so you will be careful opening. And also I have parental control also, correct, no? If one boy, I told him, you throw away the smartphone, you just keep a button phone. He said, Prabhuji, that I cannot do. He said, yeah, that's why you are in trouble. Yeah. So actually, there is a solution for everything, but people should be able to pay the price and follow the process. Correct, no? Yeah. I can say that number one problem for most boys is now the tempting Netflix and Wi-Fi. Going to these are things which are problems. Mostly social media related problem is the biggest problem nowadays. Other things are not that serious. But if our boys are not going to be serious, then they will have to learn it a hard way. What do you call it? Laton ka budh? Yeah, isn't it? So then they have to learn through the lat, which Maya. Then they are telling Maya Devi, I don't want to be in Krishna's custody, you take me. Yes, come here. She will give it. Correct? Then they are putting under. So we all have a shelter, either Maya shelter or Krishna shelter is Radharani shelter, which is Antaranga Shakti. And Maya shelter is Durga shelter. So Antaranga Shakti shelter means morning program, chanting, reading, hearing, entering devotional. That's all Antaranga Shakti shelter. Bahiranga Shakti shelter means Trivida Tap. Adhyatmika, Adhibhautika, Adhidevika, get kicks, slaps, punch, everything. So, what to do? Some people have to learn it a hard way. We say, no, either the word or sword. Brahmana needs which one? Brahmana requires. But if you tell a word, that's good enough. Otherwise, like the kings also, they are punishing a Brahman. Word is enough for them. But those who are low-class men, they need sword, danda. So, if you are gentleman, then we will follow the norms and then go back to Godhead. Faithful. And it is not impossible. See, Lord will never put us into a test which is difficult for us to cross. It is possible. Only thing is, we have to be sincere. All right? Thank you. Yeah.
Among the three levels of happiness, Parthiva and Suri, the Vaikuntha.
Yeah.
To some level, that we are giving up Parthiva.
Correct.
And we have not experienced Vaikuntha.
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah. So in the in between the Swargiyaras, that you get even in a voice center like this, like Krishna and Arjuna used to enjoy the friendly relationship, correct, no? Joking with friends, they would go to the forest of Kandava Prastha together and talking about the forest beauty. Actually, friendship also has a very great rasa, very great joy. In India, people have that type of friendships. For the sake of friend, people have been ready to even give their lives also. So we can see that gives a lot of joy to live with devotees. Even when we were in IIT, Paramahansa Prabhu, me, Gaurang Prabhu and all used to take prasad together, cook together. Gaurang Prabhu used to cook and I used to wash pots and bring milk, grocery I used to do that. So we were all cooperatively staying. So that gives a lot of joy and the impressions are very deep, the early days of Krishna consciousness. So there is definitely some amount of emotional support you get by being with the devotees, undoubtedly. And if you are not getting amongst your friends and boys, you quarrel with the devotees here, then you will get it from some girl in the company. You have to get it somewhere, correct, no? Then you go and reveal mind to somebody else who is a non-devotee and then you get into a trap, correct, no? So, while living with devotees, you know that fourth verse of the NOI. What is it? Dadati, Parivinat, Guhyamakyati, Bhungte, Shadvidam, Priti Lakshanam. That's a verse which talks about how to learn the art of Priti Lakshanam. Just like our Raghunathdas arranged the Dahi Chida festival, isn't it? All Vaishnavas came together, they ate Dahi Chida together, did Sankirtan together, Lord Nityananda was there. So it was a very joyful occasion, sitting under a tree. So we go for yatras, we go for outings. Even when you go for Sankalp, Surti and all, you go to nice natural settings, correct, no? Along with the boys enjoying learning the classes, Our seniors also get to go to such places, swim in the water, or do trekking in the mountain. We have boating harina. In IIT BH we did in those days. Basically, whether it is boating or trekking harinam or boating harinam, you can connect harinam to anything, or walking harinam, correct? No? We go close to nature. So these are all very delightful, memorable experiences we remember for a long time in life. So we get definitely support from senior devotees like an elder brother, and equal devotees like a friend. And while giving some support to the junior, you even get inspired by juniors. Sometimes the junior boys are so sincere, we feel even I'm not so sincere, they are so sincere. So we take inspiration from everybody. So therefore we say voice is like a home away from home. So we get that type of support, but at the same time, some people need the touch of a woman in order for them to get that stability in mind, peacefulness in mind. And there is nothing wrong with marriage if somebody wishes to marry. One can marry and then husband and wife can stay and practice Krishna consciousness together. But if somebody says, oh, I don't need that marriage, then you can be a good brahmachari, like Yugaruksha Prabhu and Vishwaket Prabhu and like that. What Janan? Deepak Janan? Deepak Janan Prabhu. So you have that opportunity. Ultimately, choice is yours. But if somebody want to be brahmachari, then they have to develop a very strong spiritual taste. One step before developing the spiritual taste is great intensity and eagerness for shastric study. Studying the Shastra, attending the morning program, delighting in seva, delighting in morning program. No, even though chanting may be difficult, no, I will sit down and chant. I will endeavor my best. And I will participate in arati, I will dance, I will distribute books, and I am delighting in spiritual activities. So delighting in Shastra, delighting in spiritual activities, and respectful to devotees and not offending devotees, easily one can be brahmachari with those things. And you get that support. When you don't offend devotees, you get that priti lakshanam, you get. And when you are devoted to study of the Shastra, you get the viveka buddhi by that. When you chant intensely, you powder all your material desires and you throw it out. You can drive away all the material desires. So in this way, you can become a very stable and happy devotee all life. You start getting that higher taste and you are peaceful. It's not that temptations won't come. Like once his own Kalamkana Maharaj said, a young beautiful girl comes very charming. When you see, it's not that sannyasi looks at her like a ugly like duckling or something. He said, yes, you see a beautiful woman, everybody naturally can understand this woman is beautiful. But you know that this beauty is false beauty, because it's made up of Panchamahabhut beauty. It's a perishable beauty, changing beauty. It is not everlasting beauty. It's a display of illusory energy of the Lord. Therefore, it is not worth pursuing this beauty. Instead, I would rather turn to the beauty of the deities, Radha and Krishna, and their real beauty. Their body is made up of Sachidananda Swarup, eternal, everlasting beauty, and spiritual world is everlasting variety, correct? No? In this way, a devotee has to keep on preaching to the mind. At the same time, one should follow the Maryada also. What is Maryada? Your woman is beautiful, she is illusory energy, you know it also, theoretically, but if you start connecting, if you go near, you cross the Lakshman Rekha, and you go closer and closer, then some dangerous thing can happen. Correct? No? That's why I'm telling you, keep away from tempting environment, follow the Lakshman Rekha, follow the etiquettes. So anything that can drag you down, be sufficiently fearful of it, keep away from it, and work on developing the higher taste. These are all very simple instructions, not very difficult. I honestly feel that Krishna consciousness gives sufficient inner support for a devotee to pursue spiritual life peacefully without being dragged by Maya. It's 100% possible, provided a devotee is sincere. And if one is not sincere, then one has to pay the price to Maya. What to do? Then one has to learn it a hard way. So we can learn it easily. Like for example, right from the beginning of the semester, you study well, then you crack exams very easily. Like this one small picture that I saw, I can see this one. See this. Are you able to understand that? You understood it? See, if you see this, so see, that fellow is climbing up. It's hard now, correct now? But then later it becomes easy. He can glide down. Whereas this fellow is taking a easy now. It becomes hard later. See, he is gliding, this fellow cannot climb now. So therefore, those students who study from the beginning of the semester, they are like the top one. Correct now? It's harder because everybody else is enjoying life. But at the same time, this fellow is studying right from day one of the semester. But then later at the end of the semester, he is gliding down happily. Whereas this fellows who enjoyed for the 3-4 months, now it becomes hard. We don't even know what subject they have studied now. Correct, no? Understood, no? So, same thing in the Krishna consciousness. If you do the homework right from the beginning very carefully, you are protected. Krishna says, Mameve prapadyante. Yeah. Prabhupada ki. Thank you very much.